contribution do you see from the African continent in terms of global manufacturing horsepower?
Oh, manufacturing? None, very little. Africa is a series of stacked plateaus, so just getting the infrastructure in there to access anything is very difficult. And while they do have very high birth rates and a more stable population structure, a lot of that is only possible because they export raw commodities and then import the things that allow them to have a degree of modernity. You break down global supply chains, a lot of that goes away. And so I think a lot of Africa is going to devolve. And they just don't have the infrastructure or the skilled labor that's necessary to participate at scale. And even if they did, in a less robust security environment, the connections necessary to make that happen are going to be very thin. So I think it's far more likely that the North American manufacturing system will start incorporating pieces of South America. We already have free trade deals with Colombia and Chile, for example. But yeah, I'm afraid that Africa really can't be part of that. Now, we might see pieces of Africa following the Indian model. I can see Nigeria becoming broadly self-sufficient. I can see a partial reboot of South Africa, but that's for their own domestic markets rather than any sort of international connection.
So guys, you see that video that's the globalist Peter Zeihan, you know what I mean? In this speech, he speak about other countries, but this is the part that interests me when he speak about Africa don't have the capacity from manufacturing hub, and also he said that Africa it don't have a skilled laborers and we don't have connections and half the damn comfort. So what he's saying is half right, but and he's talking crap half of it. The part when I say Africa currently cannot manage manufacturing, currently it is true to a degree. I saw some other people saying, oh, he's an idiot, and he's not an idiot, but he's mixing half truth with falsehood and then put the narrative out, because again, he's a global economist, but he's white, so he's gonna stick to the white power structure. So anyway, the manufacturing issue, yes, Africa have a lot of improvement to do in infrastructure before they even consider taking on manufacturing, because number one, that's one of the biggest issues they're having right now on the continent with farming is consistent power. It's causing reaping havoc in the agricultural field in Africa. It's starting to hold back the growth and the money that can be made on the continent when it comes to farming because of energy. So that's one issue. And for the delivery system as well, with the China is helping with that, with the train lines and all that, but Africa have far way to go with manufacturing, being a manufacturing hub. It's about far, at least 30 years I'm seeing from what I can consider with countries' growth, because before I get to that, remember, everybody used to look down on China. So China, it was a communist country and they was weak, they didn't have power. And you see, in over a few years, China built themselves up to become a manufacturing giant. So Africa can do the same because we have all the resources that's needed. We have all the gold, the cobalt, anything you need to do manufacturing jobs, lithium, bauxite, aluminum, iron, we have everything is in Africa. But we need to curtail corruption for one, put the right people in the positions, not just because of friendship, because Africa have a lot of talent when it comes down to invention and manufacturing. Contrary to what this guy said, that Africa don't have a skilled labor, that's crap, that's a shit, because he's talking nonsense, because Africa do have the labor. Because why is it every country is taking African labor from Africa to bring to the country? Germany is doing it. They're importing 250,000 of workforce from Africa. All the countries, they're taking the best out of Africa and go with them. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, and they're offering them better jobs. And what, for me, the African continent must do with governments, when they have a skilled worker and somebody that excel in their field, if you can't pay them like how the West will pay them, at least give them a free home and give them a home and give them they take care of their utilities, and then they give them a salary. So that will help them to say, okay, I can stay in my country and build my country because I have a house and I have this, and I'm getting a few of these things, and my skills and sets can multiply whatever the government want me to do. So they should look into that. And the other thing that he's saying, what did he say again? The skilled labor is not good, and if the global train stop, Africa's in trouble. Yes, technically, because again, Africa stopped importing a lot of products, rice, oil, flour, and all those things. They stopped importing a lot of stuff from the West, and that's one of the issue with it's putting in a cramp on the global trade because Africa is taking in less. Africa taking billions of dollars of goods annually, but now it's cut because they are now starting because of the African Union. They are now trading with the African Union trade that they did where all the countries signed on to last year. I think it was last year or this year. No, it's this year. So a lot of countries now are trading with each other. We come on to oil, even oil. Now Namibia and Zambia just signed a deal to build a pipeline between the two countries to share gas. And you have a couple other countries sharing wheat and agricultural products, and they are still exporting products, and they are starting to ban the export of raw materials, which is key for Africa growth. So when all of this stop, Africa can explode agricultural wise, manufactural wise, and creating jobs, energy as well, because you're finding there's a lot of oil in the continent, there's a lot of natural gases, and it's a tropical continent, which means solar power is a big thing because Akon is doing this giant Light in Africa project all over the continent with solar panel. He's making billions and he's spending billions as well. So it's there. It just need to come together to find the right people to put in place. Not necessarily governmental people, but individuals, and then give them the free reign to move through the country visa free. And that's the next issue. We need to get rid of all these borders so we can move freely within the continent for growth in every field and every because we have a few inventors in Africa. You have the guy from Zimbabwe that invented the radio waves, converted it to electricity to power cars, homes, generators to help expand the field of electricity, and self-driving cars. And you have this guy that invented a 3D. He built a 3D machine in his home because he couldn't afford one, so he built one. That takes geniusness. And then you have the guy that designed the thumbnail computer, and multiple other inventors you have in Africa right now currently that's exploding when it comes on to engineering. You have Nigeria, that's a chemical engineer that's trying to convert convert unclean water to clean water, and that can make a big deal on the continent because of water shortages. And with the current rain they have in Africa right now, they should build dams to capture all the water again. It's another source to get some water control. Build dams to convert all that flooded water into a dam so you can use it in the future to deliver water to people. So instead of people have been it's been announced that they're gonna have much drought this year in Africa and water issues. So again, Africa is on the rise. So despite what this globalist is saying, even though it's a globalist saying he's thinking smart, he's still off the white power structure, and he will always see the world and in his own likeness. He don't want nobody want the continent to grow except we as black people. So I expect that from him. So it's not surprising, but he's not telling all truth. He's mixing facts with lies and then put it together and then put it out to the world, and then everybody can accept it. But I don't accept it because it's laced with lies and inconsistencies with the labor. I don't like that. Anyway, I said my piece. I don't know. Thanks for watching. I don't know. It's the WSXM podcast. I don't know. Tell a friend. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace. One love. Boom.